It's the opening weekend of college softball, and it is day 3 of the Unidome Doc Halverson Classic on campus of the University of Northern Iowa. And our game we have up next is the Drake Bulldogs taking on Southeast Missouri State, the Red Hawks of SEMO. Alongside Christian Ellsworth, I am Brad Wells. And Christian, these two teams have been the most electric and have shown so much talent here so far in our first 2 days of action. Yeah, this is going to be a great contest. SEMO has put up 16 runs, and against UNI yesterday, they've put up big numbers in multiple games so far in this Doc Halverson Classic, and Drake has potential to do that as well. They put up 9 or 10 a few times as well in this Classic. All right, so SEMO comes in 4-0. Drake is 3-1. Their only loss to South Dakota State. Let's start with the Bulldogs. How do they pull away one more victory? Yeah, so Drake is going to be riding a victory that they just won against St. Louis, so carry the momentum from last game. Carry over. They played a great game and won 7-1. And also follow Newman's lead. Newman is doing a great job in the circle, so Drake's going to look to use her as the leader today. All right, let's take a look at the Red Hawks. Now their keys for today. Yeah, for the Red Hawks, they're going to need to not let this one-and-done mentality hit them. Yesterday and on Friday they played 2 games, so just one today, so don't overlook it and come out and play strong. And also, they're going to need to manufacture runs. They've been putting up runs, like we mentioned. They put up 16 against UNI, so here's an opportunity to do so against one of the nation's best pitcher. All right, Drake will be the visitors on the scoreboard, so they will step to the plate first as we take a look at their order. Remick, Johnson, Pena, and Newman have been a very tough 1, 2, 3, 4 this weekend, followed by Kennedy Frank, Lara, Pauls, Bowie, and Ryan. And that has, for the Bulldogs, put up some good runs. A 7-0 win to top Toledo in the season opener. A come-from-behind win over Toledo on Saturday, 11-10. And just pulling away the 7-1 win over St. Louis in the game just prior to this one. So on the mound for Southeast Missouri is Haley Thogmartin, and a pitcher for the Red Hawks who's done a good job of limited runs. You talked about the offense, but the most runs, they allowed 5 runs to a Toledo game yesterday, and good defensive performances from the Red Hawks this weekend. Yeah, we've seen Thogmartin a few times. She does a great job in the circle for the Red Hawks. What she does a great job of is letting the 7 defenders that she has on her team behind her make plays. She just pitches strikes and allows the hitters maybe to make contact from time to time, but she knows that her defense is going to make plays, and she trusts them to do just that. So leading things off for Drake at the plate is Remick. Remick hit .356 a season ago. 64 hits to lead the team as Drake went 45-12 on the season. Fouls that one away. Remick just getting a piece of that one. She's a heck of a tough out for defenses and pitchers to try to get as she leads off this very powerful top of the lineup for the Bulldogs. Here is the 2-2 delivery. Remick slaps it down the left field line, and it tails foul away from the reach of Gallo out in left. Well, she got a piece of it, just carried foul just a little bit. From our vantage point, Brad, that's kind of a tough play to see, but it pulled foul, and she's still battling, though, against Thogmartin. This is a great way to start off this game in a pitcher-hitter duel. Remick's so tough at the plate, hangs alive once again. An on-base percentage over .440 a season ago. I'll be interested to see how these Drake hitters handle Thogmartin's speed. You can see in these first couple pitches, she's throwing some heat in there. And a strikeout on the first batter faced for Thogmartin. In the game against St. Louis, there wasn't as much heat on those pitchers, so this is going to be interesting to see how they handle Thogmartin's ability to throw strikes and speed. Here's a look at the defense surrounding Thogmartin. In the outfield. Strong infield as well. Pena behind the plate. Working with Thogmartin, batter by batter. SEMO coming into this game 4-0 on the year. As Macy Johnson chops that pitch foul. Macy Johnson to the plate, a sophomore out of Winterset, Iowa for the Bulldogs, named to the 2018 Missouri Valley Conference All-Tournament team. Helping the Bulldogs win the MVC tournament title after taking the regular season crown.
Well, we've seen Macy Johnson throughout this Doc Halverson Dome Classic. We've seen her in the outfield making plays for these Bulldogs, and we've seen her in the batter's box making plays, hitting the ball as well. So she does a great job for this Bulldogs team, and a very tough out in the two-hole slot for the Bulldogs.
And up and inside, Johnson takes it on the, it hit the end of the bat, so a foul ball. So 1 ball, 2 strikes as we take another look. Up just below the right hand, off the bottom handle.
Just wasn't able to get that bat out of there fast enough, and it's a foul ball and counts as a strike against her.
Lucky to hit the knob of the bat and not catch it on the hand. 2-2 the count on Johnson. One is chopped away, foul.
Johnson doing a good job staying alive here. She's really challenging Thogmartin to throw strikes, and she's putting the bat on anything that's close to the strike zone and not giving Thogmartin anything easy to work with.
Macy Johnson coming into the day batting .500, fouls that one straight back. 5 hits in 10 at-bats between Friday and Saturday's 3 games, scored 4 runs and an RBI, 6 total bases, 3 walks. Good start to the season for the Bulldog sophomore.
Yeah, she's had a great start so far in this weekend of softball, and she's like I already said, out in the outfield, she's fun to watch as she's just got so much speed out there and so much range at center field.
And she'll hustle down to first, an opportunity to show it on the base paths. It's Thogmartin puts Johnson aboard, and Taryn Pena comes to the plate here in the top of the first inning. So Pena also with 5 hits in the Bulldogs' first 3 games, and the speed you talk about defensively, Johnson shows it on the base paths with a stolen base, down to second, and a runner in scoring position here in the first inning.
We saw early in that game against St. Louis, Drake was aggressive on the base paths, sending base runners to steal early in counts, and they're doing just that again against SEMO here, and they're gonna challenge Pena behind the plate. They're gonna make her get out of her squat and try to throw runners down at second base, and they're gonna do that throughout the game and try to steal easy 60 feet to get runners into scoring position.
Pena looking for another RBI on the season. Came into the day with 4 ribbies for the Bulldogs. This one is on the third base side and out of play.
That landed right in the roped off section here in the Unidome bleachers along that third base line. UNI event staff does a great job of keeping the spectators safe as those balls can rope off of the bat here in this close proximity of a field that we have.
And if you're tuning in for the first time here in the Unidome Classic, the University of Northern Iowa hosting this softball tournament inside the Unidome on a football field where the UNI Panther gridiron team plays their games. Calling off everybody as Messick's at shortstop makes the catch. There is 2 away here in the top of the first as Pena got underneath that one.
Yep, just popped it up, and good job of Thogmartin getting her to do just that. And Messick's over at third base, got an early read on it and was able to make the play. And SEMO's got to like where they're sitting. They're still running in scoring position for Drake, but this is a very powerful Drake Bulldog lineup. So to be sitting where they're at right now with 2 outs so far, they got to feel pretty confident. But Nicole Newman's up, and she's got some power, so this will be a tough out for Thogmartin to try to get.
Between Friday and Saturday, Nicole Newman scored 4 runs, but had just 1 hit in 7 at-bats. It was a home run. 3 RBIs coming into today and 6 walks. A dangerous hitter that it didn't take long for teams to realize Martin was a little closer to mid-season form than most here.
Yeah, and she's done a great job here. So this is just another one of those pitcher and hitter duels that's going to be fun to watch throughout the day as we continue to move through this ball game.
Called strike as Newman watches it. 1-2 is the count. We'll have more on these 2 teams in their 2018 seasons that both of these squads are coming off of. All the teams here in this year's Unidome Classic, fantastic years a season ago. And another strikeout for Thogmartin as the Bulldogs get a runner in scoring position, unable to move it around. To the bottom of the first we go. This is the Valley on ESPN.
What does this sound? A&W's juicy signature Papa Burger, crispy golden fried onion rings, and a zing of spicy Papa sauce. We'd say that has a nice ring to it. The Papa Burger and onion rings combo, always at your Cedar Falls, Cedar Rapids, and Hayfield A&W's.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise, and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Now at A&W, hand-breaded chicken tender baskets. Juicy 100% white meat chicken tenders, hand-breaded and fried to golden perfection. Served with fries, slaw, and your choice of 6 dipping sauces. This is chicken done right. Only at your Cedar Falls, Cedar Rapids, and Hayfield A&W's.
Here's a look at the SEMO Redhawks starting lineup. As you see, Arlanis leading things off. Anderson, Messick's, Bandy, Barnowski, Ellis, Pena, Gallo, and Reinecker, the DP, will bat in the 9 spot.
Well, SEMO's going to have to try to get things started here early against Nicole Newman. She's coming in on Friday night. She had a near perfect game. She pitched 5 no-hit innings, gave up a walk, and has really done a great job all weekend. And when she's not pitching, she's DPing as a batter and just helping this Bulldog team win any way possible. She's really a leader for this Bulldog team, and it's going to be exciting to watch her pitch against a very, very good SEMO batting lineup.
Nicole Newman named to the top 50 watch list for 2019 from USA Softball for Collegiate Player of the Year honors. So someone to keep your eyes on. And not only does it at the plate, but fantastic in the circle. thing about Nicole Newman, the fifth-year senior that head coach Rich Calvert mentioned, is he feels he just can't wear her out. She is coming off Tommy John surgery, eased her into the 2018 season, but is as good as there is. So certainly wants to use the entire pitching staff to support her, but pretty awesome opening weekend for the Bulldog pitcher.
Well, it's nice when she can get help from the other pitchers on this Bulldog team. In the game before this one against St. Louis, Nicole Timmons went a complete game, 7 innings, and did a great job. Only gave up 5 hits throughout that whole thing and 1 run. So Newman knows that there's other pitchers that can help her out if she ever needs it, but a lot of times she just does it herself and says, I got this, and don't worry, I'll take it from here.
Went 5 full innings on Friday, had 12 strikeouts. You mentioned, Christian, just 1 walk in that contest, and was needed in just 2 innings of action, 2 1/3, and allowed her first hit of the season, but still yet to allow a run. 15 strikeouts coming into today.
And one thing she does is she comes out and gets ahead early. You usually see 0-1, 0-2 counts, 1-2 counts. She does a great job of establishing herself early in counts to stay ahead.
Ariana drives it deep, and underneath it for the catch is the left fielder Abby Bowie. As we take a look at the order, Bowie, Johnson, and Ryan in the outfield. Pena and Remick on the left side, Frank and Pauls on the right side of the infield, and Gabby Jonas behind the plate. Delivery from Newman in there for a strike.
Well, this is Rachel Anderson here for SEMO. She was a first-team OVC player last season and a second-team All-Region. She's really a leader of this SEMO team.
And a 1-out infield single for Rachel Anderson. Leads the team in hits on the season, coming in with 7, and just hustled after the perfectly placed bunt.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she'll do. She'll put a bunt down and play a little small ball because she knows she's got speed, and you see it in the outfield. She's got tremendous range, and look out when she gets on base. It's she's always looking to take advantage of stealing a free 60 feet and moving in a scoring position.
So just the second hit of the season allowed by Nicole Newman comes in the second batter of the game. Sarah Messick to the plate. Messick's hitting .385 in the infancy stages of this 2019 season.
Well, this SEMO team is going to be able to rely on Anderson and Messick here in the meat of their batting lineup. If Anderson continues to get on base like she's been doing, Messick is the home run leader, the RBI leader of this team, and she'll continue to do a great job of moving Anderson around the bases and generating runs.
Messick swings through strike 2. Anderson 2 for 2 on stolen bases attempts so far this season. As Messick looks at ball 2 up top, we saw Macy Johnson get aboard and steal a base. When you have pitchers at the speed of Thogmartin and Newman, the base runners really have to be alert, and they have to have a great jump if they're going to try and swipe a base.
Yeah, you almost have to be perfect with your timing to be able to steal a base, and we're going to see a chance here.
And Anderson, the jump not good enough as Jonas throws her out. Here's another look.
That's a heck of a play by Jonas. She gets right out of the squat and cuts down a tremendously fast runner and a really good base stealer in Rachel Anderson, but Jonas said, not today, not on my watch. And that's interesting because that's the third catcher that Drake has used in this Doc Halverson UNI Dome Classic. So they know, they feel really comfortable with who they have behind the plate, no matter which player it is.
Now Messick gets a board on the base on balls. So to the plate, Parker Bandy. In hindsight, always tough. Anderson caught stealing, then Messick's awarded the free pass.
But I think that's what SEMO needs to do. They need to stay aggressive. This is a experienced Drake squad. I know SEMO has a better record coming into this game, but facing a pitcher like Nicole Newman, who's a top 20 pitcher in the nation, you got to take advantage of having runners on base and try to be aggressive to generate those runs, because it's not going to come easy in a game like this.
Parker Bandy looks at a strike. Bandy with 4 hits in the first 4 games for the Red Hawks, hitting .333.
Bandy's had a great weekend so far. She's already got 6 runs and 6 RBIs in just 4 games for the Red Hawks. So this is, these are 2 teams that are very comparable, very good meat of the order in the batting lineup.
And we take another look at Nicole Newman wheeling and dealing, her first strikeout of the game. We go to the second inning. Welcome back to Cedar Falls, Iowa, alongside Christian Ellsworth. I am Brad Wells. Scoreless through our first inning. And the Drake Bulldogs to the plate here in the top of the second. Leading things off is Kennedy Frank, hitting .333 on the year. Tries to lay down a bunt. It rolls foul down the third base side. What you see is playing on the football field here inside the Unidome. And you're looking down that third base line there on the left of your screen. Third base sitting just on the green portion of the turf. So if the ball catches any part of the green turf, it's just the same as catching that foul line, the chalk or the paint, for it to be fair. Meanwhile, if you go down the first base line, it's the 35-yard line, and that will act just like your typical foul line, as you see our vantage point here and the setup inside the Unidome. Left field out towards the scoreboard. A purple curtain monster, if you will, out in right field. Have to hit it over the purple curtain for a home run. Into the purple curtain would be a ground rule double. And then a batter's eye curtain out in center field.
That curtain over in right field, that to dead away right field is only about 160, somewhere in there, so it's not too far. So you have to add that element out there with that curtain to make it a bit tougher to hit the ball over and get a home run.
Like the NCAA regulations, as Frank is awarded first. It's the second walk allowed by Thogmartin, and the second base runner for the Drake Bulldogs here in this game, as Johnson reached on a walk in the first. A stolen base advanced her to second, where she was stranded in the first inning. Alexia Lara to the plate.
We've seen Thogmartin a few times now put runners on base by walking them, and she's had a few control issues like that. She's going to get a lot of strikeouts, and she's going to keep hits to a minimum, but she may put runners on base with walks.
There's a solid, strong rip up the middle for Lara, and the throw goes to third. Safe at third is Frank, and Lara scoots into second.
Good hit by Lara, right back at Thogmartin, right up the middle. And good job by her, realizing that Anderson decided to skip the cutoff and throw straight to third base. So Lara's able to get into second, and now Drake's in business with runners on second and third with no outs.
A single, and advancing to second on the throw for Alexia Lara, a freshman out of Bettendorf, Iowa. And Hannah Pauls, a freshman out of Des Moines, Iowa, went to North Polk High School. Steps up to the plate.
No, I know it didn't come out to anything, but when Rachel Anderson got that ball out and right center field. She threw straight to third base, and it was a strike. You can see the arm strength that Anderson has out there. So just keep that in mind throughout the game, and she may be able to cut a runner off if she continues to throw the ball like that.
Nice play made behind the plate by Donald.
Thogmartin taking her time in between pitches, just settling herself. She knows this is an important moment in this game with runners on second and third in scoring position. With the swing of the bat, Hannah Powles can put the Bulldogs up 2-0.
That one foul. So we do have Rachel Donald catching now behind the plate. Chelsea Pena was entered as the starting catcher. There's a slap into right field, and it gets by the right fielder, Arlanis. 2 runs are in for the Bulldogs, and it's a sliding triple for Hannah Pauls.
Well, Arlanis tried to come up and make a play on that ball, and that's one of those in-betweeners. You're not really sure, am I going to be able to get there in time and make a play? And she went for it, but you can't discredit her for being aggressive and trying to make that play. But at the end of the day, ball gets past her, and Powles is in for an easy triple and 2 RBI hit that puts the Bulldogs up 2-0 here in the top of the second.
Abby Bowie to the plate. Thogmartin with her 2-0 record coming in today, had given up just 2 runs in her 9+ innings of work, so a below 2 ERA at 1.93 coming in. Gives up 2 here in the second inning to the Bulldogs.
Well, Thogmartin not used to working with the lead not in her favor. She's not used to working down on the scoreboard, so this will be interesting to see how she handles this. Gave up an easy triple there to Powles and 2 runs early in this game, so she's just got to battle back and find herself and continue to throw strikes.
Bowie goes down on strikes. Now Ryan trying to push the run across, and does, and is safe at first, makes the big turn. And holding on to it is Thogmartin.
Bowie's able to get that bunt down and even got it through Ellis's glove to get to first. And then she turned and looked and saw that nobody was covering second base. So she thought about it for a little bit, but good hustle by the Red Hawks to get somebody in the area to prevent Bowie from taking an easy extra base.
They list it as a single for Libby Ryan. To the top of the order we go. Mandy Remick at the plate. Struck out in her first at bat. Remick hitting .250 coming into today. 2 hits, both of them doubles. 4 runs scored for the Bulldogs. Slaps it left side into the seats and out of play.
Well, that came off the bat hot into the stands here in the Unidome. Be interesting, Brad, to get a foul ball tracker to see how many foul balls landed in these bleachers directly below us here and along the home sideline of the football facility here in Cedar Falls.
Another slap into the seats. Would you need a dent tracker as well as the foul ball tracker? Yeah. Some of those go into the stands very hot. They've got a roped off area for the fans to not sit, but ones like that go straight over the backstop
And I'm sure you can hear those on your screens at home. Those things are coming off hot and hitting these bleachers hard, and you can't be lackadaisical if you're going to be a spectator here in this Doc Halverson UNI Dome Classic, because even if that ball hits above you a couple rows, watch out, it might be shooting back down towards you.
Remick, the leadoff batter for the Bulldogs, at the plate. Pushing 3 runs across here in the second inning. Remick an opportunity to add to it. Ryan at first base. An RBI infield single. Scored Hannah Pauls, who put 2 runs across with a triple.
Well, now it's only a 2-2 count, but that's about the 8th pitch of this at bat, as Remick has done a good job of battling here and getting a piece of anything that's close. When 2 strikes on you, you have to do that and protect the plate, and she's doing just that. And with that patience and with that ability to protect, she's pushed this count to full and a chance to possibly get on base.
Good eye by Remick. That one just missed. Here's the payoff pitch. Chopped once again, foul and out of play.
That's also demoralizing as a pitcher. You see 8-9 pitches into the count, and this is the 11th pitch now that Remick is at bat, and this is tough. It's a battle.
And we will see number 12.
This is one of those ones, even if Remick doesn't get on base here, you can count it up as a minor victory here for the Bulldogs, as they're able to push Thogmartin 12 more pitches deep into her day, and you never know, that could possibly come back and hurt the Redhawks later in this ball game.
Thogmartin 9 innings pitched in her 3 appearances. As Remick goes down on strikes, safe down to second goes Ryan.
So a 12-pitch strikeout there for Thogmartin. But Ryan doing a good job of knowing the situation, knowing that's a payoff pitch. Whatever happens, there's a good chance that she might have been safe either way. So she took off and got a good jump and was able to get a stolen base out of that strikeout.
5 consecutive foul balls by Remick in that at-bat. So Ryan, the stolen base, now stands at second. It's Johnson at the plate. Reached safely in the first inning on a base on balls.
Well, big inning so far here for the Bulldogs here in the top of the second, as they've been able to put up 3 runs already and have a runner in scoring position. And Johnson at the plate, who's plenty dangerous herself.
(3-0) Drake here in the second inning. Swing and a miss by Johnson, but the Bulldogs put 3 on the board. A 2-0.
Facing here Nicole Newman, who's a top 20 pitcher in the country.
Nicole Newman, a strikeout in the first inning, and gets one here to start the second.
Well, how about that start for Nicole Newman? She comes out firing strikes and gets a strikeout with Barnowski just watching it zoom by her.
Ashley Ellis to the plate. Swings through the opening pitch, hitting .462 on the year. Ellis, 6 hits through the Redhawks' first 4 games. A double, a triple, and a home run. Has hit for the cycle on the weekend. 5 RBIs for Ellis. And there's a hard hit ball into center field. That one is up, and that one is gone. Ellis puts the Redhawks on the board with a solo shot here in the bottom of the second.
What a shot. That was the dead away center field. And just to give everybody at home perspective, the home plate's sitting at the 35-yard line on the far side, on the near side of from our vantage point of the field, and that ball hit in the corner of the end zone on the far side of the field. That's a shot.
Ashley Ellis, her second home run of the season. When you have pitchers that throw as hard as Newman and Thogmartin, if you can square them up and get good contact on it, it can take off and go just like that did.
Yeah, if you did a piece of the ball and drive through that contact point, that ball's going to shoot off the bat just like we saw. And Ellis proving that sometimes being a pitcher that throws some heat can come back to bite you. If you even touch it a little bit, that thing's gonna fly.
That's a foul ball. No balls, 2 strikes the count for Donald. Rachel Donald catching for the Redhawks, a junior out of Dupo, Illinois.
You know, it's interesting. You can kind of see the shoes that some of these players are wearing, and you know they're used to wearing softball cleats, if you will, and playing on a surface like this. Most of them elect to wear tennis shoes to get better footing.
Strike 3, and there's 2 away here in the second. That was the pitch prior. Now coming to the plate, Claudia Gallo, a left fielder. Gallo, a junior out of Arnold, Missouri.
That's 3 strikeouts now for Nicole Newman. She's coming out and doing what she does best, and that's throw strikes. And she's gonna look to get ahead in the count early, as she's up here in this one 0-1. But she's able to finish batters really well, as they know what's coming too. They know it's going to be something fast, but she does a good job of just putting them away.
Gallo swings through, strike 2. And that's 3 strikeouts on the inning for Nicole Newman, but SEMO gets on the board. Ashley Ellis, the solo shot to put the Redhawks on the board. 3-1, we go to the third. We begin the third inning. Drake a 2-run lead after SEMO gets a home run from Ashley Ellis to get on the board. 3-4-5 due up for the Bulldogs. Taryn Pena leads things off. Fly ball left side will stay in the infield. And the catch made at short by Messick.
Thogmartin able to jam Pena up there and force the pop up. Pena was upset at herself. She felt like she missed one there as she was trotting off the field. And here's Nicole Newman going to try to help her own cause and produce a run maybe to build on her 3-1 lead that she's helped to keep.
Struck out in the first inning. Thogmartin with 5 strikeouts. Two walks, has allowed all 3 runs with the earned run status.
Thogmartin up already above 60 pitches, and we're only in the top of the third inning. She's, you got to think back to that 12 pitch at bat that she had there against with Remick, and she's getting up there in pitch count already.
Newman swings through, strike 2. 2-2 our count. Thogmartin delivers. Just missing. Good eye by Newman at the plate.
In softball, I was talking about pitch count. In softball, it's not as big of a deal as it is in baseball. In baseball, you usually think about 100 pitches as getting up there a ways, but in softball, you can usually stand a pitch well into the 100s. So it's not that big of a deal, but it still can wear on a pitcher after a full weekend of games, as Thodmartin's already pitched 9-10 innings here in the Unidome Classic.
For SEMO, though, perhaps it does help. This is their only game of the day. A doubleheader on Friday and a doubleheader on Saturday. Another strikeout for Thodmartin, number 6 for her afternoon.
Thodmartin saying, Nicole Newman, I see what you do in the circle. Let me one up you and do it. She actually struck out Newman there, so pitcher on pitcher duel, and Thodmartin won that one.
It's 2 strikeouts now. She sat Newman down both times swinging, and to the plate, Kennedy Frank started the 3-run second inning with a walk, scored a run. Frank hitting .333 on the season, 5 RBIs. Kennedy Frank, the senior out of Chesterfield, Missouri. All Missouri Valley Conference second team selection a season ago. And here's the pop out to Messick at shortstop. And we go to the bottom of the third. A 2-run game as the Red Hawks able to sit down the Bulldogs in order. Drake, a 2-run lead over Southeast Missouri State in the final game of the Unidome Classic. For these two teams, one more game remains, but Drake a 3-1 lead as SEMO got 1 run back in the second inning. It was a solo blast off the bat of Ashley Ellis. This is 9-1-2 due up for the Red Hawks. Reinecker at the plate for the first time in this game.
Brooke Reinecker up here. If she's able to get on, there's a very potent top of this SEMO lineup behind her. A lot of times this 9-hole slot is very overlooked, and you see this so much in softball games where the 9-hole batter is leading off an inning. If they're able to get on, that's a great opportunity to produce a run as the meat of your order is due up.
Reinecker hitting .429 on the season. A lot of coaches like to use that as that secondary leadoff spot to kind of set up the top of the order. But a called strike 3, and Reinecker's out number 1.
Well, that's 4 batters in a row now that Nicole Newman has retired, and she's doing what she does best and throwing strikeouts.
Leadoff batter at the plate, Michaela Arianes. Flew out to left in her first at-bat. It's the opening weekend of the college softball season, and these two teams have certainly shown that they have potential to push for similar results to their season a year ago, as Arianes flies out to the shortstop for out number 2. SEMO coming off a year in which they were 33-20. Drake was 45-12 and earned the program's first ever NCAA tournament wins. Won the Missouri Valley Conference regular season and tournament titles, as Rachel Anderson at the plate singled in her first at-bat, swings through strike 1.
Yeah, both these teams are very similar as well. They rely on their pitching a lot, and then when you get to the top of their orders, they have some batters that are able to do a lot of stuff in the batter's box. You have a lot of a lot of powerful hitters. You have a lot of more finesse hitters, and at the end of the day, they're very similar teams. This is a great matchup, 3-1 in the bottom of the third, and a fun one so far.
And just over the...
Let that one go by, and that's one as a coach you're holding your breath as maybe you want Messick to protect a little more.
Swings through, strike 3. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Nicole Newman. As we go to the 4th inning, 3-1 Bulldogs over the Redhawks. These games as we're back to the action here on Sunday, day 3 of the tournament. Alexia Lara pops out for a 1-pitch out number 1. As we go back to the look, SEMO, the 7-3 win over South Dakota State, topped the host school UNI 5-1. Drake playing just 1 game on the day, the late game, defeating Toledo 7-0.
Yeah, Drake got maybe an advantage of playing the 1 game on Friday and kind of getting a feel for things, and now they've played back-to-back double headers on Saturday and then today.
Hannah Pauls grounds out to the shortstop, and you see the nice play by Messick. Here's a quick look at yesterday's action as well. Drake losing to South Dakota State before topping Toledo, a thrilling come-from-behind win. SEMO, the doubleheader to end the day yesterday.
Yeah, maybe that Drake loss against South Dakota State, a 6-4 Jackrabbit win. Maybe that on paper it definitely looks like an upset, and I think Coach Calvert's a little bit upset with that one. The girls played hard, but South Dakota State was just firing on all cylinders that day. So Drake comes away with the loss, but they bounced back and got a much needed win against Toledo to follow that loss to South Dakota State.
Speaking of South Dakota State, they will play the University of Northern Iowa in the final game of the tournament coming up. Both teams warming up behind the first base line out in what you would call the red zone in football, but South Dakota State in the northwest corner. UNI in the batting cages. Currently, this is fouled back. Abby Bowie having a good battle at the plate with the pitcher Thogmartin. Well, through 3 innings, Christian, both pitchers 6 strikeouts, as we've seen quite the performances so far from Thogmartin and Newman, despite both teams offensively able to put some runs on the board.
Yeah, and I think, you look at the scoreboard and see only 3 hits given up by each pitcher, and you talked about, Brad, the 6 strikeouts apiece. This is definitely a pitcher's duel, but offenses are finding a way to score runs. Drake had 3 in the 2nd inning, and SEMO had the 1-run shot there by Ellis. So teams are finding a way to produce runs even against these tough pitchers.
Barnowski squeezes it, and it's 3 up, 3 down in the 4th inning. Bottom of the 4th when we come back here on the Valley on ESPN.
Your Highness, thank you for the invitation.
Yes, though our moat is much larger than this.
Our great hall is much greater than this.
Much.
Our parties are much less crowded than this.
Oh, and our beers are much fancier than that.
Much.
Why did we invite them again?
We're raiding a castle and needed a distraction.
Attack, man!
Bud Light, for the many, not the few.
There's no doubt about it. Saving feels great. At Mid-American Energy, we love saving too. Saving the environment by supporting tree planting, which improves air quality. Saving money by investing in wind energy, which keeps rates low. And saving you energy by providing tips to help make your home more energy efficient. Which means you can take those savings and put your energy into having fun. Saving definitely feels great. So does being obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Here's a look at our action from today here in Cedar Falls, as Toledo topping St. Louis, Drake topping St. Louis, and currently the 2 o'clock battle, Drake and SEMO. South Dakota State and UNI coming up. You see South Dakota State 3-1 so far in this tournament action. UNI 2-2. Looking to close out their home tournament with a winning record. Good one coming up. 4-5-6 due up now for SEMO here. The lefties, Parker Bandy. And the first pitch fouled back into the stands. Bandy struck out in her first at-bat. Hitting over 300 on the season. 6 runs scored and 6 runs batted in.
Well, Newman coming out and getting ahead early like she's done so many times. She's got 6 strikeouts already on the day, and she does that consistently. Comes down, you see an 0-2 count more times than not.
Bandy swings at it, and the throw down to first from Jonas to Lara for out number 1.
Great block there by Jonas. That's one that Bandy reached for a little bit, was in the dirt, but swung, and that's a strikeout for Newman. But great job there behind the plate by Jonas, able to block the ball and get the ball over to first to complete the strikeout.
Addison Barnowski looks at strike 1. Barnowski went down looking in her first at-bat. Hitting over 500 on the season, and swings through strike 2.
Again, Brad, it seems like most every batter that comes up to the plate for SEMO starts off at a disadvantage after 2 pitches being down 0-2.
Barnowski gets it on the arm and will be awarded first base.
Well, that looked like it hurt. That came in right on the inside of the elbow of Barnowski, and she's maybe shaking up a little bit. She's still over around first base, shaking it off, but she showing her toughness, just walked over there. Going to have a trainer come out and made sure everything's okay, and that she'll be able to continue in this ball game.
She's already got a pad on that, or a wrap on that right elbow. Well, let's take a look at how the competition has stacked up here at the University of Northern Iowa. SEMO, you see them 4-0 as they come into this one. South Dakota State and Drake right behind the Red Hawks at 3-1. UNI 2-2. Toledo's gone 1-4, and St. Louis 0-4. So in to run for the Red Hawks, Mackenzie Long, a senior out of Lee Summit, Missouri.
So the trainer came out to check on Barnowski and urged her to go in and just make sure everything's okay, and sent in a pinch runner for her.
Ashley Ellis, a big swing. Strike 1, but Ellis made some noise back in the second inning. Squared up a Nicole Newman fastball. Crushed a solo home run to straightaway center.
Well, after that first swing, Ellis was going to try to do it again. She came out swinging away and was ready to make contact again and try to tie this thing up herself.
That ball gets away from Jonas. Down to second goes Long, who's running for Barnowski. So a runner in scoring position for the only Red Hawk to drive in a run. Here's the 1-2 to Ellis, a swing and a miss. Newman, strikeout number 8.
She's dealing, and when she's in rhythm, she's hard to touch, and these Red Hawk hitters are just going to have to continue to try to battle, just get any piece of the ball that they can, because when Newman's on fire, throwing about 70 miles an hour, good luck trying to hit that.
So here is Donald at the plate. Rachel Donald catching for Pena after Pena started the game. Chases one up high.
Just some perspective on how fast Newman is throwing. 70 miles an hour in softball is equivalent to about mid to low 90s in baseball, so she's throwing some heat that these hitters are trying to deal with.
The count goes to 0-2. Yeah, may not be coming in at the miles per hour, but the pitching rubber a lot closer to home plate. Here is Newman. Just missing. Wanted that call. 1-2 goes the count, though, here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 1 on, 2 away. Donald at the plate, and Newman sets her down. Strike 3 called, and it's strikeout number 9 for Nicole Newman. And the Bulldog bats coming up right after this here on the Valley on ESPN. We begin the 5th inning. Drake with a 3-1 lead over Southeast Missouri State. Laying down the bunt is Libby Ryan. Contacted with Ryan in the batter's box. We'll go back, do it again.
That was close. I'm going to say there's a foul ball there. Yep. Hit Ryan as she is still in the batter's box, and Ryan's a little bit disappointed that happened. That was a heck of a bunt, and that would have been a tough play for SEMO to try to make, as Ryan has some speed and was well on her way to first base.
And we're going to have an official meeting here. SEMO head coach Mark Redburn out to talk to the officials. Here you see the second contact. Looked like she was still in the batter's box. There you see the contact. The right foot looked like was still in the batter's box. They say yes, let's continue play. No balls and a strike.
That one was close. Thought Martin wanted that pitch. That seemed to be right at the knees, but maybe was a little bit inside, and Ryan's still got 1-1 count.
Ryan slaps it up the middle and is aboard for the second time today. Her second hit.
Well, here's an opportunity for Drake to advance a runner. Ryan's very fast on the base path. Be interested to see if Drake elects to play some small ball here and maybe bunt Ryan over with Remick.
Remick lays it down, and she's going to reach safely. Safe at first. Ryan safe at second. Back-to-back base hits for the Drake Bulldogs.
Well, that's exactly what Drake elected to do, play some small ball, and the advantage goes to Drake there with Remick bunting because she has the speed to get to first base and make a bunt single out of it and advance Ryan in the meantime. So Drake's sitting well with runners on first and second with no out here in the top of the 5th.
And you see Haley Thogmartin in the circle. Gave up 3 runs in the second inning, and Drake with their first 2 batters aboard here in the 5th inning. Macy Johnson to the plate. 0 for 1 today. A strikeout, a walk, and a stolen base of her own. Libby Ryan had a stolen base back in the second. She stands at second here, advancing on the bunt by Remick. And a third straight single for Drake as Macy Johnson able to put one down.
That's the second time that we've seen a bunt single here in this game, and now multiple times we've seen that in this weekend of softball, and that just goes to show that Drake practices the fundamentals. They take pride in doing the basics right, and the basics include bunting, and that's really an art, and they've done it well. We've seen other teams try to sacrifice bunt, but when Drake's doing it, it's almost as good of a hit as a hit. They're not even sacrificing themselves. They're getting on base as well, and here we are with the bases loaded in the top of the 5th.
The 9-1-2 batters have reached. Taryn Pena, the number 3 batter, at the plate. This one fouled away. Nicole Newman, the cleanup batter, in the on-deck circle. Nobody out here in the 5th inning. Thogmartin facing a bases-loaded jam, and here's a rip into left field for Pena. 1 run will score as the quick throw by Gallo from left allows the Bulldogs to advance just 1 base.
Well, great job by Pena. Put the ball in play. The table was set for her. She delivers a base knock and is able to drive in a run. Coach Calvert decided to keep Remick at third base as left fielder did a great job. That's Gallo. She did a great job of getting the ball in her glove and getting it in to prevent any more runs from scoring.
And so with 4 straight hits here in the 5th inning, Thogmartin will check out as into pitch comes Alexis Estes, the junior out of Lane, Illinois. Well, check that. That is Marissa Davis, number 6. Davis, a freshman out of Kansas City, Missouri. Well, we are here inside the Unidome, and this was earlier this morning outside the Unidome. 4 fresh inches of the white powdery snow falling in the Cedar Valley. Here inside the Unidome, however, 72 degrees and as beautiful as the middle of summer in here.
We're glad we're inside for this weekend of softball where there are no elements and just get to play softball at its purest form with no possible interruptions.
So Marissa Davis in to throw for the Red Hawks. Thogmartin goes 4+ innings, gives up 4 earned runs on 7 hits, and would be on the hook for the 3 on the base paths. That one off the knob of the bat of Nicole Newman.
Marissa Davis comes into this game in a tough spot, trying to do anything she can to get SEMO out of this jam. Bases loaded, no outs, with Nicole Newman up, who could possibly blow this game open with the swing of the bat.
Newman 0 for 2 today, struck out in her first 2 plate appearances. This one up the middle, and Drake once again will just get 1 run across, but the 5th consecutive single for the Drake Bulldogs in this 5th inning.
Again, just 1 run comes in off of that hit, but look at that arm out there in center field by Rachel Anderson. She got the ball in her glove and she fired that thing in, and Davis ended up cutting it off in the pitcher circle, but that thing could have gone all the way into home plate, and that would have been on the money.
Newman drives Remick in. You have Johnson at third, Pena at second, and Newman standing at first. This is Kennedy Frank at the plate. 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored back in the 2nd inning. Nobody out here in the 5th, 5-1. Drake in front. Called strike as Marissa Davis, the freshman, comes in and sits in a difficult spot here.
Well, that's what Davis needs to do. She just needs to throw strikes and trust that the defense behind her, who has played well in the first 4 games of the year already, trust that they're going to make plays and they're going to be able to help you out to generate outs. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You just got to throw strikes and and trust the 7 players you have behind you.
Davis making her 3rd appearance of the season. This is slapped into center. Anderson makes the catch. The bullet home cut off in the pitcher's circle by the first baseman Ellis. And there is one away. So Frank with the sacrifice fly to score Johnson.
Well, Frank did her job there, putting Johnson across home plate, allowing Drake to build on that lead as we're now sitting at 6-1 here in the top of the 5th inning.
It was 5 consecutive singles for the Drake Bulldogs. 2 of them little bunts, infield singles to keep things rolling on this fast turf.
Yeah,
Drake able to just really execute perfectly.
Yeah, 2 of those singles are, like you said, Brad, bunts that were meant to be sacrifice bunts, but when you have speed, you're able to maybe reach on first yourself.
Lara back to the plate. Giving a good effort on that third base side was Barnowski. So Lara at the plate is 1 for 2, had a single, scored a run in the 2nd inning. Looks at ball 2.
She's been getting a lot of at-bats this weekend. Mostly as a DP, but today getting to play some first base and have multiple at-bats. Heads up. That ball was taken all the way over to where you and I is warming up over in what will be the end zone, but also is where a pole vault pit is at here in the Unidome. We have softball in front of us and batting cages and pole vault pits all on the football field.
Looks like it rolled out the doors of the tunnel. There you see your upper right corner, the pole vault pit. You see the football field. There's an indoor track underneath the football turf. University of Northern Iowa hosts the Missouri Valley Conference Indoor Track and Field Championships, has done so the last 10 seasons. As the high pop out is caught at third by Barnowski. See her come in and make the catch in foul territory. So there's 2 away now.
Davis doing what she needs to do in the circle. She's just throwing strikes, and like we talked about, Brad, she just needs to trust her teammates behind her and trust that they'll be able to make plays like Barnowski just did to generate outs.
Hannah Pauls at the plate for Drake to face Davis here with 2 away. And Taryn Pena at second, Newman at first. No one missing outside. Pauls got the scoring started for the Bulldogs back in the 2nd inning. A 2 RBI triple that she slapped out towards right field. She would later score in that 2nd inning and make it 3-0 early on. Here looking to help the Bulldogs add to their 3 runs already on the board in this 5th inning. Lefty misses high, 3-1 on Pauls.
This is an opportunity here for Pauls to extend on this lead. Has a runner in scoring position. We've seen her a few times already today put the bat on the ball and make contact. She wanted it there. She took a hard cut at that one, and Davis was just able to blow it by her.
Swings through strike 2. Full count pitch coming. Abby Bowie on deck if Pauls can find a way to reach. Two on, two away. Here's Davis delivering, and it's ball 4. Hannah Pauls will trot down to first, and the base is loaded once again for Drake here in the 5th inning.
Well, this is the 9th batter of this inning. We're making our way through the lineup here as Drake is continuing to keep runners on base and build on this lead that they had going into this inning.
Ground ball right side, and the play made easily at first by Ellis, but Drake able to put 3 more on the board here in the 5th as they lead at 6-1 here on the Valley on E. 6-1 our score here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Drake Bulldogs able to add to their lead as they push 3 runs across in the top of the 5th inning. SEMO an opportunity to respond. 8-9-1 due up for the Red Hawks. Gallo, Reinecker, and Arenas. This is Claudia Gallo. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Now 0 for 2 with the pop out to left as Bowie underneath it.
Newman starting off this inning right where she left off, which is on fire for the Drake Bulldogs. She comes out 1 pitch, 1 out. She got 9 strikeouts. She's just doing a good job controlling this game. And now she's got a 6-1 lead to work with. Look for her to continue to protect that and throw strikes early in counts and get ahead on these batters to establish herself as dominant here in this game.
9 strikeouts for Newman through 4 innings. Reinecker slaps it to left, and Bowie underneath it for the 2nd out.
2 up, 2 down. Bowie with 2 putouts over and left. And SEMO can't get too anxious against Newman. You have to really be patient and hit strikes. That time maybe chased out of the zone a little bit, and that's maybe the reason why I slapped over to the opposite direction. But against a pitcher like Newman, you have to be patient, and you're going to get strikes. So just put the bat on the ball when they come across the plate.
So top of the order now for SEMO with 2 away. Michaela Arianes pops up to the 3rd baseman, and Drake goes 3 up, 3 down. 2 pop outs to left to Bowie. Pena makes the catch for out number 3. To the 6th inning we go. Drake 6, SEMO 1 here on the Valley. There's a 5-run difference as we head to the 6th inning. Drake 3 runs in the 5th. They started the inning with 5 consecutive base hits. Libby Ryan, who led off that inning, grounds out for out number 1. Started the 5th inning with a single up the middle back in the 5th.
And just like that, Davis comes in and gets an early out in this inning. She's done a good job of coming in relief for Thogmartin and being able to handle this tough Drake lineup. The reason why she's doing a good job, she's throwing strikes and allowing her defense to make plays.
So ground ball left side, and the easy scoop and throw for Bandy over to Ellis, and there's 2 away.
Again, another example of that. Forcing a ground ball, and that time to Bandy, and able to make a play. So 2 up, 2 down for Davis here in the top of the 6th, and this is big for SEMO to get maybe some momentum going into the bottom half of this inning. Try to produce some runs to cut into the 6-1 Drake lead.
No swing on the check swing by Macy Johnson. At the plate, Johnson 1 for 2. A single has reached twice in this game. Getting aboard by a walk in the first, stolen base in the first inning, and scored a run in the fifth. But 2 away here. Marissa Davis, the freshman pitcher for SEMO, came in with nobody out and the bases loaded back in the fifth. And 1 run already across for Drake in that inning. She allowed a hit, allowed 2 runs to get swatted in. Those were charged to Thogmartin. Walked the batter, but able to get out of the jam without too much damage, as it could have been a lot worse for SEMO back in that 5th inning.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Davis has come in and she's done a good job of just throwing strikes. She came in with bases loaded and no outs and was able to only give up 2 that were credited to Thogmartin. So she's really done her job. A freshman pitcher and coming into a situation that's not ideal to come off the bench too, but she's really done a good job for the Red Hawks and really stopped the bleeding when it's getting bad there for SEMO.
Johnson gets walked for the 2nd time of the afternoon. Looks for her 2nd stolen base and has it. Messick keeps it from going into the outfield. Johnson quickly down to 2nd. You see Bandy trying to pick that short throw up in front of the base. Would have been a stolen base for Johnson even if it was fielded cleanly. Pena at the plate. Hammers a pop fly right side. And in to make the catch. Out in right is Arianes, and SEMO out of the 6th inning to the plate. When we come back, Drake leads it 6-1 here on the Valley on ESPN. Drake with the lead over SEMO, and Southeast Missouri to the plate now with their 2-3-4 batters, and Rachel Anderson, Sarah Messick, and Parker Bandy. And Rachel Anderson at the plate, 2 for 2 today. And she has 2 of the 3 hits for the Red Hawks today.
Not many Red Hawks have been able to hit Newman here in this game, but Anderson has. She's got 2 of them, and when she gets on base, she's able to generate stolen bases, and that's going to be a double, as that did not go over the purple curtain in right field.
Anderson 3 for 3 on the day, and considering she's facing Drake's Nicole Newman, how impressive is this performance today by Anderson as she drills it into the curtain?
Well, we've seen her do that all weekend now, as she's got double-digit hits in just 5 games now for the Red Hawks, and she's doing a great job at the plate. She's so fast, too, and that's a big reason why she's got some of those hits. She's able to beat out throws, but she's a bright spot for this in this game so far for the Red Hawks, as they're down 6-1, but she's got 3 hits, and including that double that you just saw.
So Sarah Messick to the plate. Anderson at second. Anderson was caught stealing earlier in the game, back in the first inning. Messick fouls that one out of play. No balls, 2 strikes the count on Messick. Messick's a walk in the first, a strikeout in the third, and just her 3rd plate appearance coming here in the 6th inning. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, number 10 for Nicole Newman.
Double-digit strikeouts now for Nicole Newman. She's been wheeling and dealing all day, and you can tell that those SEMO batters are having a hard time keeping up with the speed that she's pitching, hitting around 70 miles an hour on a consistent basis. So she's bringing some heat from the circle.
Nicole Newman, along with those 10 strikeouts, has allowed 4 hits, but as we just mentioned, 3 of them have come off the bat of Rachel Anderson. So they have been spread out. Here's a fly ball, right center field by Bandy, and back to make the catch and get it in is Ryan, and advancing to third on the throw is Anderson.
Well, Bandy gave it a ride, and we talked about off that Ashley Ellis home run earlier in this game. If you hit a pitch that Nicole Newman brings, it's going to fly. That time just not enough. That was probably about 10-15 feet from the fence, as Bandy got a piece of it, just not enough to get it over the fence.
Swing and a miss for Southeast Missouri State. Ashley Emmert at the plate. Ashley Emmert coming into the day with just 1 plate appearance and a strikeout on her young season. Southeast Missouri State comes in 4-0 on the year, as the Drake Bulldogs 3-1 coming into this one, coming off a 7-1 win over St. Louis in the game just prior to this one. Drake getting the 2nd and 3rd of the 4 games today. And Nicole Newman, strikeout number 11 as we head to the 7th. The Bulldogs lead at 6-1 over the Red Hawks. This is the Valley on ESPN. A 5-run lead for the Drake Bulldogs as we head into the final inning, as the Bulldogs lead SEMO 3 runs in the 2nd inning, 3 runs in the 5th for Drake. SEMO getting a solo home run from Ashley Ellis back in the 2nd inning. Leading things off here in the 7th, Becca Barnett, freshman, into bat for Nicole Newman in the 4 spot. And a new pitcher for Southeast Missouri in the circle as well, Rachel Rook, the sophomore out of Republic, Missouri. The right-hander in to replace Davis.
We saw Rook yesterday come in relief, and she does a great job for these Red Hawks and as a relief pitcher. So she comes in with her team down 6-1, and her job is going to be, let's just get 3 outs and give us a chance to possibly cut into this lead here in the bottom half of this 7th inning.
Facing the freshman Barnett as we begin the 7th inning. Rook delivers. Barnett lays it down and it rolls foul.
Ball rolled just foul there. That was a good attempt at a bunt to get on base there by Barnett. And sometimes maybe you wonder if that ball rolled foul because of the surface that this field is on. That turf, if the ball's rolling any kind of way, it magnifies it a little bit and ended up pushing the ball foul.
That one slapped foul just over top of the netting of the backstop.
Barnett was all over that pitch the whole way. When you see the ball go right back up the middle of the field, that's just a sign that the hitter is on what you have coming, and there may be a step ahead there and able to get on base.
Another pinch hitter to the plate. Melissa Schlatzhauer, the senior out of Pilot Grove, Missouri, into the left-handed batter's box.
Coach Calvert giving some other players an opportunity here to step in and get some live at bats in the last inning of their run here in the Doc Halverson UNI Dome Classic.
So 2-0 the count. Illegal pitch called on Rook, and now 2 balls 1 strike the count on Schlatzhauer. Well, Christian, the Drake Bulldogs leading 6-1. They were picked as the Missouri Valley Conference preseason favorite. They had 3 players on the All-Missouri Valley Conference preseason team, most in the league. Graduated just 1 senior off of a team a year ago. 45 wins, 12 losses. Expectations haven't changed. What's the toughest part you think about this Drake Bulldogs squad? There's a look at the returners that were all MVC from a year ago. Remick, Newman, Pena, first team honorees last season.
Well, you talk about what is it that sets this Drake team apart, and it's just that list that we showed. You know, you can go up and down this Drake Bulldog lineup, and there's experience and good play all around. You talked about Mandy Remick, at shortstop being the player of the year last year in the MVC, and then you have the pitcher of the year in Nicole Newman in the circle most weekends. So they're a very experienced team and going to be a force to be reckoned with in MVC play and in postseason play when that time comes.
So you like the foundation of those 2 reigning MVC player and pitcher of the year, but the depth that Drake has top to bottom, both in the batting order and the solid defense they've shown this opening weekend.
Yeah, and even when, you talk about Newman all the time, and even when she's not pitching, you have another Nicole Timmons, who's able to come in and pitch as well. We saw her earlier today pitch 7 innings in a complete game, only allowed 1 run, and she's another pitcher and another player that this Drake Bulldog team is able to build their defense around, and you're not going to see many runs scored against them, and you're not going to give up many hits, as we've seen in this one, only giving up 4 hits to SEMO and 1 run.
This is Alexia Lara at the plate. 1 for 3 this afternoon. A single and a run scored back in the 2nd inning. And a couple of pop-outs in her last 2 at-bats. 1 away, 1 aboard here in the 7th inning. Rachel Rook in the circle, the 3rd Redhawks pitcher we've seen today. Ground ball goes just foul outside the 3rd base line.
Lara's battling here against Rook. We've seen her a few times in the DP role this weekend. Today getting the start at first base in this game against SEMO, and she's done a good job stepping into this lineup. 1 for 3 on the day, and 3 3 runs, a home run, and 4 RBIs on the season so far for her.
The second strikeout of the inning for Rachel Rook, and there's 2 away here in the 7th.
Well, Rachel Rook is doing what she needs to do. Get 3 outs here in this top half of the 7th inning, not allow Drake to score. Do whatever it takes to get into the bottom of this 7th without giving up a run and keeping this deficit at 5, which is a ways, but possibly reachable with some of the batters that SEMO has in their lineup.
Hannah Paul's at the plate. Today, 1 for 2. 2 RBI triple in the 2nd. That started the scoring for Drake. They would get 3 in that inning. Pauls would have a ground out in the 4th. Get walked in the 5th. Barnett stands at first. That one is just foul. Hitting nothing but green past first base. Down that 35-yard line, if you will.
You know, from our vantage point, that's one of the best views that we have in this facility, is that first base line. We saw that right off the bat. It was hook and foul just a little bit, and Rook is still alive here in this one, and up 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That one's fouled back, and we'll do it again. Hannah Paul's a freshman out of Des Moines, playing first base this afternoon for the Bulldogs. And another strikeout. 3 strikeouts for Rachel Rook in the 7th. We send it to the bottom of the 7th. It's the Redhawks' last attempt to keep this game alive. Drake leads it by 5 here on the Valley on ESPN. (6-1), bottom of the 7th. Southeast Missouri, their final attempt to snag Drake and stay unbeaten on the season. SEMO comes in 4-0 on the year as the Drake Bulldogs win over St. Louis earlier today. 3-1 on the season. And at the plate for SEMO, Randy Day Conway, a junior out of Morganfield, Kentucky, trying to slap her way aboard.
She gets to come in and face Nicole Newman, who's still in this ball game in the bottom of the 7th. She's only given up 4 hits on the day and 1 walk. Other than that, been retiring batters left and right. She's got 11 strikeouts as well. The only run she's given up is a home run in the 2nd inning to Ashley Ellis, who took her to deep, deep center field.
Staying alive is Conway. SEMO with 4 hits in the game, 3 of them on the bat of Rachel Anderson, the Redhawks' number 2 hitter. There's the 1-2 and strikeout number 12 for Nicole Newman.
Well, what else do you expect when Nicole Newman's in the circle? Just another strikeout. She's just really she's so commanding of the game when she's in the circle. She gets up early in counts, gets strikes on batters, and finishes them off with heat. You don't see her go to an off-speed pitch too often. She's just going to say, I'll just blow it by you, and we'll call it good.
Chelsea Pena in to hit with 1 away here. Check swing is strike 2. Pena for SEMO, a freshman out of Columbia, Illinois. and looks at strike 3. So 13 now is the total for Nicole Newman in the 7th inning. And 1 out away from helping Drake to a 4-1 opening weekend of action. Leading by 5. Anderson at the plate. Pop up, and the catch is made at short by the Bulldogs, and it's a 5-run lead for Drake as they win it 6-1 over SEMO. Drake goes to 4-1. SEMO loses their first game at 4-1. Two tough teams that opened up their season this weekend.
Yeah, we knew this was going to be a tough game for both teams. Drake is able to bounce back. They lost yesterday to South Dakota State. They would have liked to go 5-0 on the weekend, but they did what they needed to do against a 4-0 SEMO team at the time. Now both teams go into their next tournaments 4-1 after a good solid weekend here at the Doc Halverson Classic.
For Christian Ellsworth and our entire crew, we say so long from the Unidome. Drake wins it over SEMO. 6-1 is the final. Thank you for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN. The final game of the Unidome Classic comes up right here on ESPN3. South Dakota State battling the University of Northern Iowa.